Hey, how's it going? So, it's a Monday. I'm working. I just wanted to do this video real quick, just give you guys a heads up on what's about to happen here this week with a couple videos I'll be doing. I'll be doing them both the same day. But I wanted to, cover a few things because I got some really good comments in the last video, and then I started getting people asking me questions about other things, making other suggestions through the Astro Tribe Instagram page and the Astro Tribe Facebook page. Dude, you don't have a stop sign, man. People in this town, I've talked about before, they don't know how to negotiate four-way stop signs either. I'll tell you again, if multiple vehicles arrive at a four-way stop sign at the same time, the car to the right has the right of way. Now you know. No engine light. Van's been running real smooth. Even before I did the computer, I would have some of these issues, just so you guys understand. And you guys know in the last video I was chasing this code for the number 3 cylinder, and I swapped out my distributor cap, and the engine light, I forgot to clear the code before I did it. Engine light was on, came back on, then it went off and it hasn't come back. Also, my volts are good with the battery and everything. So I still don't think that it was the cap necessarily, but maybe that's helping some. I don't know. But a couple things. All right, you guys saw that. Just take up the whole road there, lady. So you guys saw that when I put the replacement cap on, the screw in the front part of the distributor itself cracked that distributor spot. So I've made the decision to go with that Amazon aluminum distributor. This was recommended to me originally by Chris. It's been talked about in the groups on Facebook, but Chris D. Decker over there at Build United. Thanks, Chris. So I went ahead and got it. Now, I was on the fence with it because I was researching distributor caps, and I would prefer a distributor cap that had brass terminals in it, or copper. And in the reviews on Amazon, a Chevy mechanic said he was very happy with that distributor because that's what it had. It came with the... So I was like, I'll buy it. $56. I'm going to buy it. Well, I got in the mail. First thing I did was take the cap off, and it had aluminum terminals inside the cap. So I went back on Amazon looking for a distributor cap that has brass or copper terminals, and the company that makes that distributor also makes a cap that has brass terminals for another $16. So I ordered that. That should be here any moment. When that gets here, I'm going to put it in. I don't think that's going to really be my problem. Going back to what somebody in the comments of the last video said, I think he said he was a Chevy mechanic. Maybe I have mixed up with one of the other guys. And to digress for a quick moment, I have to say, come on, lady. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ. She's like 16 years old. Sorry for cursing. I'm just frustrated the way people drive here. Because they're dumb. They're just dumb. They're not thinking. What the hell was I saying? Oh, yeah. So this dude made a comment. Thank you. I've noticed that there's a lot of people in my comments that are way smarter than I am, know more than I do, actual mechanics in there. I don't know why you guys are even watching my videos unless you're just like scrolling through looking for your own entertainment, like guys like me that don't know what we're doing, so you can just point and laugh at us like, ha, I could have told you that wasn't the right thing to do. I do that with woodworking stuff, But the guy made a comment about the ICM, the ignition control module. Not the first time I had heard of that, but I just wasn't thinking about it correctly. A week and a half ago, I was working my buddy's van, on a van build. Rick's a mechanic. Rick has built race car engines, and he's raced things, and he just built the engine in his boat, and motorcycle stuff. He knows what he's talking about. He's got that old Ford van, and he had the same symptoms I had with a specific cylinder. Would go away, come back, same thing with volts. And he said to me, he says, dude, change out your ICM, your ignition control module. I was like, You guys that don't know, I always drove old cars, old carbureted cars. Before this, I had a 1967 Dodge pickup, V8 318. It doesn't have an ignition control module. It has a coil. I did put electronic ignition in it, and it did have one of those things that mounted on the firewall, and I did have problems with that. The Mopar one didn't work. I had to go with an aftermarket. So, again, in the comments of my last video, this guy specifically mentioned the ICM, and he specifically mentioned how there's like a grease, he said, that breaks down and then the thing overheats. He was really cool about it because he wasn't trying to come off like he knew exactly what he was saying, but he was right. I told him I'd look into it, and I did. And as it turns out, when you do internet searches for the ignition control module, whether it's for the Astro van or other vehicles, many of those people complain of the exact same problem. Like, it's like this intermittent thing, like you'll suddenly be thrown a code for a specific cylinder, or even a multi-cylinder misfire. Sometimes your volts will jump around or not be there. Some people were calling it battery drain. That's what they thought was going on. They replaced the ICM and it took care of the problem. Okay, so turns out with the greases, it's a thermal conductive grease that it goes on the back of the ICM up against this aluminum piece that it bolts to between that and the bracket, and the aluminum piece has fins to dissipate heat. So you want to take this all apart, clean that aluminum real well, make sure you use that thermal conductive grease on the back side and on the bracket, because the idea, again, it pulls the heat from the unit, helps transfer the heat into the heat sink, basically, which is, you know, it's got the fins, and that's what's going on. Now, I want to say the van's been running good, but it's been cool here lately because it's winter time for us, you know. So it's been in the, like at night it's in the 40s, and during the day it starts off around 50 degrees and warms up a little bit throughout the day, but it's been pretty cloudy, a lot of rain. So I suspect when it heats up, it'll start doing it. So what I did was I ordered an ICM, which was over $100. It was 133 bucks shipped. And I already had a new coil that I ordered. Now there's a bracket. It's mounted to the engine there. You have to unbolt another bracket and do all this stuff to get to the bolts for the bracket, for the coil. The coil and the ICM are together on the same bracket. The bracket sandwiches the bottom of the coil, and it's held in with rivets. So you have to pull the whole thing out and bench it, grind down the rivets, if it's the original, which it probably is. It looks like it is to me. Put it back together with nuts and bolts that come with it, and I checked my packaging, and it did have them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be replacing the coil, and I'll be replacing the ICM. So that's what you guys are about to see. You can figure it out. There you go. Dumb people. I see dumb people everywhere. Not that I'm the smartest friggin' cracker in the fucking box. Anyhow, I just want to let you guys know, because there's definitely a significant number of you who are curious. You're following, because I'm getting more. I think that little video I did, the last video, got a lot of comments. I answered almost all of them that needed to be. And but I'm also getting other private notes from people with suggestions or wanting to know what's going to happen next. It's pretty interesting that people care that much. So again, thanks for being here. Love you guys, man. I love the fact that there's smart people on my channel that know so much. They can make these suggestions for me. I really do appreciate it. These parts should all be in by the middle of this week, and I'm hoping I can find an afternoon to knock it out. I'm going to do a separate video on just the distributor, talk about that, show you how to do that. It's like the easiest thing in the world to do. Same day, but separate video. I'll do the ICM and the ignition coil at the same time, because it just makes sense because they share that bracket. That's it for now. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.